Sick. Can you imagine I just go live for the first time in like 4 months and it's just us sitting on this call?
Dude,
Hey.
do you not have the option enabled for OBS to like confirm that you want to go live?
Oh, I don't think I do. I think it's just
Oh God. Oh
hit the
God.
button and go.
You're just out here taking that risk.
Yeah, I like to live dangerously.
Holy fuck.
I like to maybe I might accidentally hit that button and all of a sudden I'm streaming without knowing it. I live for that thrill. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Pace Pals. I'm your host, Gio, joined alongside by my co-host, Zeus44, Z Gaming. Zeus, how are we doing?
I'm doing great, Gio. I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
Living the dream, you know? Look at you. I mean, you're the busy guy around here. You're in the middle of your invertathon. Everyone go like, subscribe. Wait, go follow, subscribe, raid. I got my social media platforms mixed up there. This one's on Twitch. Go support our guy in his invertathon. Every sub adds several days of time to the timer. Every raid adds a year. This guy's going to be streaming for the rest of his life.
I'm literally stuck here. I haven't left my room in the past 13 days. Just because every time I think I'm knocking time off the timer, somebody raids and I'm stuck here for another 5 years. So
It's prison. He's
um
actually just in prison. This is Sisyphus, but with streaming.
I'm Sisyphus and you guys are the fucking rock. But yeah, no, I'll see y'all when I'm 35.
Let's go.
Um,
Let's go.
when the invertathon finally ends. But no, it's been a lot of fun. The support has been fantastic. The support for the pod during this time period has been fantastic. We released a short video recently. Um, we at Pace Pals cooked that up, and it was really, really great. We have one of those coming out per week. So, come check out my subathon. Go check out those short videos
True.
coming out every week as well. We got a lot coming up, Gio. We got a lot coming up.
We got a lot going on, and we're kind of in the heat of everything right now. We just finished qualifier season. We know the finalists. Not a lot of drama at the top of the table, but obviously some shakeups, some curiosities down closer to the bottom. Coming in, there was some mysteries about who would grab that 7th spot, and then it turns out Suiji didn't participate. We'll talk about that more, which kind of opened the door for a possibility that Suiji wouldn't make finals, and it would be Simply and Gothic. Ultimately, it is Suiji and Simply who get through. We'll talk more about that. But I wanted to start off, it only feels right, kind of our top story of the weekend, just like last time. Smau is just on fire. The guy cannot stop speeding. Another 137, only 6 seconds off of his actual real PB, which he got in the last qualifiers. What are your takeaways? What do you make of this? What is going on?
It has something to do with taking a Mario break, man. I swear. Like, you stop playing this game for any extended length of time and you just come back so strong. And I think Smau is just like a living, breathing example of that. Like the D-Rust, like PBs, they go crazy. They go crazy. You just come back and you just play your best Mario ever. And realistically, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because you've been gone for so long. But I think the lack of expectation it really helps fuel it. And Smau's just crushing it right now. Smau is absolutely getting hot at the right time. And you already know his regular PB attempts are going to continue that way as well going into finals. So my big takeaway is Smau might be him. Smau might be him.
Smau might be him. He was on PB Pace earlier this week too, post finals, into upstairs, maybe into Tippy. I think it might have been into Tippy. I mean, the guy is just absolutely crushing it. Question for you: how many beers did he have before this run? What do you think? We learned from the interview. Go watch the episode. We learned from the interview. He had a few beers last time. How many beers before this run?
I'm thinking maybe like a cheeky 3, like a 3 spot, maybe like a 3 or a 4.
Post a hat
Something
trick.
to take the edge off.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Take the edge off. I did also learn something. We've talked about how we're doing those short videos, these hype videos for finals, where they, each one kind of focuses on one of the finalists. In preparation for that video, I was digging through Twitter. I've been doing a lot of scrubbing VODs, scrubbing Twitter. I think Smau might not be 21 until May, which is a disaster. He's in Finland.
No.
There's no issues with drinking. But if you listen to the interview, we did propose a celebration, Stone Cold Smau Austin, if you will. And I don't think that's going to be legal, unfortunately. And that is devastating news.
No.
I know.
Okay, well, hold on. Smau is at least 18. He lives in Europe. So
True.
He is allowed to drink over there. But unfortunately, over here, he's going to be here for finals in November. Can't do that.
Well, do we have enough time maybe to petition the city of Laurel, the state of Maryland? I don't know at what level those laws are, and lower the drinking age
just for a week
to 20 and a half. That'll do it. Just drop it by 6 months and we're there.
That's all we need, man. That's all we need. That's all we're looking for.
I think if we can send a mock-up of the celebration to the legislators, that's actually going to sell. They're like, oh, I get it. This needs to happen.
That's a very convincing argument. I think we could take this to
that's what we need.
The highest court in Maryland.
Yeah. Let's go. Oh, good thing we have an attorney. This is now our primary focus. We're stopping content until we get this taken care of. But Smau's on a tear. This is insane. Like 2 137s qualifiers in a row. It's one thing, I think, to come off the D-Rust and do something crazy like that. But to show this consistency over the course of a month, he's got to be kind of the favorite. I mean, there's no doubt he can compete for the top spot at finals. He can win pace. He can be a pace champion. I think it's going to take a 137 to win, and the guy has shown that he is very capable of just churning out 137s, which is crazy because his PB is a 137 high. Like, there's not a lot of margin for error there.
No. Yeah, well, I think that's going to be a lot lower by the time finals comes around. I think Smau could potentially be in that 137, like maybe 2x territory, maybe even 1x. I mean, he's just been getting on crazy runs. So, like, we're talking, we have noted here his second finished run was his final time of the weekend. That run was a 136.58 best possible time in a tippy. So if he can clean that up a little bit, 1x, 2x, very realistic.
Yeah.
For Smau.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. He had a few pacers. I mentioned one this week. I think he had another pacer too that was 136 pace late. I mean, I think there's a very real chance he comes in with a much lower PB than what he has now. But everything is just kind of coming up Smau. I mean, what an insane month. We'll see if he can keep it up for it. We still have 2 months till finals. There's a long gap here. And, you worry about things like, typically you worry about things like burnout. I know Kally's taking a break. We'll talk about that later. But Smau just took a break. He's as refreshed as you can be. I mean, he's kind of in the primary spot to just be able to push through and kind of grind this game for the next 2 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He is in, I would argue, one of the best positions out of most people who qualified this time around. So he just has to take advantage. He just has to keep it consistent, and he's looking very, very strong, looking like the favorite. But we'll talk about that in an official finals, like, predictions kind of recap episode later on. But I'll just lock it in now. He's my favorite.
Wow, there it is.
Yep.
That's crazy. But this isn't the finals preview episode. If you thought we weren't going to make double the content out of this, I don't know what you're doing. All right, we're taking this for all we can get it. All right, we're making as much. This might be a 10-episode series. Okay,
1 episode per participant. This is the Smau episode.
Done.
Thank you for watching.
See you next time. Bye. No. Actually, that's not a terrible idea. Let's brainstorm that between season 2 and 3 and see if that's something we want. Let's stick that to the whiteboard.
We can pin that one.
Yeah. Put a pin in that. We'll circle back. Little corporate speak. Number 2.
We just need the bandwidth for it.
We just need the bandwidth. You got to make sure you have bandwidth. I want to do a segue. Speaking of bandwidth, I don't know how I'd tie that in, so we're just gonna do a hard segue, hard pivot. Number 2, tied for 2 overall. Puncay and Beast. Let's start with Puncay. Puncay finished 3rd this round in qualifiers. He had a 138.46. Consistent. it's more of the same. I mean, the guy is just so consistent. He had a 139, finished a 138, 46 later. There were no runs between those two PBs. Those were back to back, which is just kind of underscores what this guy does, which is play the game at the exact same caliber, which is a very high level of play every single time. I don't know if you had any major takeaways from Puncay. I mean, it's just the guy refuses to stop being Puncay. It's crazy.
There's really not a lot else that you can say. I mean, I feel like we've talked about Puncay so much just because over the course of us making this podcast, he's just always been there. He's just always been in a spot to qualify. He's always been in the finals, and he's just always produced the same level of gameplay. Like you said, he just can't stop being Puncay. And regardless of how much World of Warcraft he plays, he's just still going to churn out extremely good runs, and that's just how it's going to be. He's just too consistent, man.
He's too consistent. And it's worth pointing out, the only pace champions we've had 4 so far. Cheese won the first one. Puncay went back-to-back. He had the double. We got to come up with a name for that. In 2023, he won both summer and fall. And then Cheese obviously took the championship in summer pace of this year. They're tied at 2 apiece. If one of them takes it, they're now the all-time leader in pace championships. Or we could have a third name on that board. Obviously, we just talked about Smau, but Puncay is in a great spot. I mean, he's just so consistently good. We should easily expect a 138 from him at finals, if not a 137. He had a 137 in qualifiers. He's the only person to put out a 137 in an LTA and not win. He had that in the first qualifier, and he lost to Suiji. So, yeah, I mean, Puncay's Puncay. Notably, he did not retire this weekend. That's pretty cool.
Didn't have the retirement buff going in this time. Didn't need it, though.
Didn't need it. That brings us to our other second-place finisher, who also finished second in the qualifiers this weekend. Beast Assassin. Honestly, it's getting to be more of the same for Beast, too. Beast had a 138.09. Phenomenal time. He's still on that grind for a 136, streaming every single day. Go check him out. We've interviewed him. He's a legend. We love Beast. Pro Beast podcast.
Very pro Beast.
I mean, he's just at this point a perennial competitor. He's always there. He's always going to be competing. He hasn't made the podium yet, and that's something I think we should think about as we switch gears to finals in the later episode, obviously. But is this the year he makes podium?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll lock it in. I'll lock that into. You know what?
We got a lot locked in.
I'm locked in right now, man. I'm locked in on these finals. Yeah, no, Beast is absolutely killing it right now. I think he's on like day 80 something of streaming every day, and like that's nuts, man. That's crazy. I don't know how he does it, but he actually, talking about the 13th of September, the day before recording this, he rated me last night, and he got another 137 under his belt. So,
damn,
he's still playing good Mario. He's still keeping that level of gameplay up, and I think, obviously he's going to keep streaming every day. So, just consistently playing the game at any level is going to help you out a lot. But at a level like this, Beast is going to be primed and ready for finals if this stream every day until 136 thing keeps going. It could end tonight. Who knows? But
good.
He's going to keep doing his thing, and Beast is going to be there. Beast and Beast family is going to be at the finals always. Always, always, always.
The GOATs. The greatest of all time, best speedrunning family, Mount Rushmore. Simply's got a good one.
Yeah.
I think those are the only two, so it's not really a Mount Rushmore at this point. But those are two good ones. I got a question for you. I have 2 questions, actually, based on what you just said. First, are we worried about burnout?
I don't know. I mean, not so much, just because I don't think he, pushes himself to, stream super long hours.
Yeah.
And admittedly, he has been getting good runs going. I would say burnout would be a concern for me if he had a really long stretch of just not getting anything going. But I don't think he's pushing himself to do super, super long hours. If he boots up the game and it's not going well after like an hour, hour and a half, he's probably like, okay, that's it. Like I'm not forcing it. Maybe I haven't caught all of the streams. Admittedly, I'm kind of a fake fan, but um, it may be a little bit of a concern. Not really, but kind of.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good point. I think it's all about what I mean. If he had another 137 last night, that's huge. Having those runs that even if they're not PBs, even if they're not reaching your goal, that are good solid runs, low 138s I imagine are kind of the same. That's what you need. It's where you feel like you're not getting anything going, or even if you have random mistakes pop up that just kill runs. That's when it gets to be pretty brutal from the mental standpoint, and I think that's where the risk of burnout kind of increases. But dropping a 137, that's a great sign. That's something that's a little carrot that keeps you going. It pushes you on to the next day. The other question, my second question, what is the kind of best case scenario? He just drops a 137 once or twice a week until we get there. He gets the 136, because if he gets a 136 now, he's free to take as much time as off as he wants. He's not going to be streaming every day. That changes it. If he gets a 136 right before, like a week before, I almost feel like that's worse, because it's like, okay, well, I could take time off, but I can't really. This is what I need to be training and grinding up. But you also have that mental, strange feeling where it's like, oh, I just reached my goal, and you have this, you want to celebrate, but you can't. What's the best case scenario that, out of this stream every day till 136, does he get it? Is it that he doesn't get it? He just keeps getting good runs? What do you think?
Well, based on my calculations that I did just now,
whoa, this guy's got a calculator out.
October is the best time to do it. October is the best time to do it. It can happen anytime between now and, like, let's say October 5th. Wow. First couple weeks of October. All right. Because then you still have a little bit of time that you could take off. It's not too much where you're going to lose like any kind of ability that you have built up. I feel like it's like the prime optimal position to get it done between now and the first 2 weeks of October.
All right, lock it in. If it happens after the first 2 weeks of October, Zeus has officially said Beast will finish last at finals.
Whoa.
I didn't say that, to be clear. Those words weren't mine. That was Zeus's words.
Ain't no way. I never said that. You can go back and check the tapes. You can roll the video back 30 seconds.
I think you implied it.
Crazy. This is crazy.
I think the viewers are capable of making an inference there. Okay, they can read between the lines, sir. But enough about of our top 3 qualifiers overall. Just off of the qualifier podium, not something people talk about a lot. That might be the first time it's been brought up. That's a term though. Look it up. We have number 4, Cheese, finished 3rd this weekend, a 138.43. What are your thoughts on Cheese?
Cheese the GOAT. Cheese the GOAT.
Cheese is the GOAT.
And his plot armor has not been pierced to this point, and I don't think it will be. I mean, I feel like Cheese can finish anywhere he wants in the qualifiers. He could have nabbed the 7th spot on sheer luck, but if he's going into the finals, you just know he's going to be up there, because somehow, some way, he just always comes in the clutch. He just always clutches out a really, really good spot. And that's just how it is. That's just what he does. So he's looking really good too, going into the finals. He's looking really, really solid. But he's always looking good. He's always looking good, man.
Yeah, Cheese always rises to the occasion. It's what he does. It's what he's known for. It's his whole brand. Part of it is I think he's naturally a performer. I mean, he's a musician. He's an athlete. I think he likes to perform, and these live events just bring out the best in that, and they motivate him in a way that it isn't quite the same maybe for qualifiers. I don't know if he needs the stakes, if he needs the live energy, but he just always rises to these occasions and is so hard to beat in in-person competitions. He's done it in his whole career. There's no reason to think he won't do it now. I think there's, a good shot he comes away with the championship. This is probably the tightest field I think we've ever seen. We can save that for the next episode, but I do think legitimately any competitor here could come away with the championship, which is the coolest thing. But Cheese specifically is just, you know, I mean, his run was so interesting. His tourney PB this weekend. He had major time losses in a few different spots. He lost almost a minute in TTM. He lost 17 seconds in SSL, 14 in HMC 100, 19 in SL, 20 in TTC. Like a lot of spots with major time losses. And then in splits where he didn't lose time, he was like at gold or within a couple seconds of gold, which is pretty crazy. It's such an interesting way to play. It was kind of boom or bust for him, split by split. So I wonder if we'll see more of that. Either way, we know he's going to compete. One fact I learned this weekend, actually, we mentioned before already, the only two pace champions, Puncay and Cheese, neither has ever won a qualifier. Either in aggregate, aggregate, maybe that's not true. Somebody might want to fact check me on that one. But no one has ever won an individual weekend qualifier. Puncay came very close the first qualifier this season, but Sweegie beat him out by a few seconds. They both had 137 highs. So even though neither of them won a single qualifier this season, don't count them out. It's what they do. They don't necessarily win the qualifiers, but then they show up for finals and they can't be beat.
That's just their play at this point. That's just how they do it.
It's if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And like you said, looking at Cheese's tourney PB from this past heat, that's crazy. That like this is like, I mean, it's kind of a five-head statement to be like, oh, this run could have been so much better if he didn't make mistakes. Yeah. But like,
mistakes are bad. I don't know if you knew.
A whole minute in TTM.
That's crazy.
And you're still dropping a 138. Like what?
Yeah.
What? Like how? I don't know. How is that possible? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Absolutely nuts.
You take off like, even like if you want to keep TTM more consistent with his other time loss, let's say like you have 17 in SSL, 14 in HMC 100, like low double digits time loss. We're talking about almost a 137 in that run.
Yeah,
like that doesn't even make sense to me. Like that's crazy.
And to lose a minute, I mean, it's just so much spaghetti. So much has to go wrong to lose that much time. And we saw something similar in Simply's. And we can talk about that in a little bit, but in Simply's tourney PB where he lost a minute, I think, in TTC. And it was just, I was watching it back recently, and it's just brutal. I mean, it's several stars, just complete mishaps. So to have that kind of time loss and still produce your tourney PB that is, for Cheese, it was third this weekend, that's crazy. Like, he's just insane. On a different playing field. He's just different. He's built different. He's him.
And so is Smau, but so is Cheese.
There's a lot of hymns.
There's a lot of fucking hymns out there.
For hymns, this would be a great segment for you to sponsor. Just a thought.
Our email is open. Our DMs are open. We will take
slide on
whatever
in.
We can get.
Yeah. Pay us some money. We'll have a great time. It's gonna be a great partnership.
It's gonna be good. Well worth it.
Moving on to fifth in qualifiers. Kally finished sixth this weekend, a 139.12. Not necessarily the run we've come to expect from Kally, but it also was his first finished run. As soon as he finished, he raided into the GSA broadcast and didn't go live the rest of the weekend. And then he noted on September 9th, which would have been the day after qualifiers. This was a tweet from him: taking a Mario break for 1 to 2 weeks, feeling very burnt out and under a lot of pressure, need to try and relax and come back with a better mindset. We'll probably be listing stuff to sell that's not as relevant. Although if you want to buy, go find him on Twitter. But the point is, he's clearly experiencing burnout right now. He needs to mentally reset. He's got to step away from the game, so that he was able to come in, drop a 139 on one run, lock up qualifier, and then peace out to kind of preserve his mental state and hopefully preserve his abilities for finals. I think is awesome that he was able to clutch that away. It'll be interesting to see kind of how he comes back from this break. If 1 to 2 weeks is enough, if he needs longer. The benefit of this really long time period between qualifiers and finals, he does have the liberty to kind of do that and mess with that. He can take 3 weeks. He could even take a month off and still give himself a month to come back, fully de-rust and prep for finals.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in a pretty good spot right now in terms of that. I mean, obviously kind of a scary position being like burnt out and feeling that way. so close-ish to finals, it can be kind of I imagine, a stressful position. But like you said, I mean, 2 months is still a lot of time. Like, a lot can happen in 2 months. So I think he's going to be fine. I think Kally I feel like has been here before, and he's always managed to come out regardless and still put up a really good performance regardless. So I think he's going to be fine. I think he'll be fine. And I think the break is definitely going to do him well.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. He's a veteran of the game. He's been here before. This isn't the first time I think he's taken breaks to kind of reset. So I don't think this is anything that should be too alarming. Obviously, burnout's always a little scary because I think each individual case is kind of different as far as how long it takes to move past it and feel like you're ready to kind of attack the game again. And I mean, yeah, Kally got the podium last pace finals, which is awesome. That was his goal. He said it on the podcast in our interview with him. That was what he wanted to do. He set his sights on it, and he accomplished that. But it'd be really cool to see Kally walk away with a gold. I think there's no doubt he's capable, and so I think as far as it goes, you know, it's great he got podium, but from a viewer's perspective, job's not finished. I would love to see him wrap it up and clutch out the number one spot and put a title under his belt.
Definitely. I mean, it's just the long arc of Kally slowly working his way up to that podium position, and no better ending for this arc than snagging a first place finish in finals. And you know, talking about his break again, just one last point. I feel like knowing that he is qualified and like knowing that, okay, I'm set regardless of what happens, like I think that'll help a little bit. Like, I'm sure going in and only getting one run done and then just kind of piecing out was a little bit stressful just because you never know how everybody else is going to participate. But knowing that you locked that up definitely probably helps a little bit more with feeling good about taking a break.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think, too, the huge benefit Kally had is just really strong performances in the first two qualifiers. He ended up having a 10-point lead over sixth place. So even if, you know, Simply had come out with a first place finish, it would have been it would have taken that to jump Kally. So I think Kally was in a not lucky. He was in a really favorable spot. It wasn't lucky. It's based off of his first two qualifier performances to kind of have that cushion and be able to drop one run, a 139. It was 138 pace until he missed Carpilus. So it was a really good run, but know that a 139 was secure enough to not have to worry about it the rest of the weekend. I do want to touch on one thing you said. You talked about his upward trajectory. Kally's finishes at finals. Historically, there have been 4 finals of the speedrun world record circuits. He finished fifth at the first one, 4th the next 2, and then 2nd. He's never fallen back down, which only leads 2 options for him for this one. He's either got to go silver medal again or he's got to get the gold. So we'll see what happens. Either way, I hope he has a good break. I hope he has a good reset. It's definitely a well-earned break. He's been grinding for a long time, and he's still absolutely crushing it. He PB'd recently with a no LBLJ. Don't forget that. He's on that no LBLJ grind. He is
Crazy.
leading the front there. I think he's one of the few. I think he's the only one of the finalists who does that. But hey, if it works, it's classic Kally, right? He goes against the grain. He doesn't have to do what everyone else does, but it still works. He makes it work. Moving down the standings, this is where it gets really interesting. This is where the spots were really up for grabs. Qualifying at 6th is Simply. Come on the fucking pod.
Come on the fucking pod, man.
We would love to talk to you about qualifiers. This is not the culmination. I think finals will be the culmination. But this is a major event. It's been a long time coming. It's been an incredible arc that Simply's been on. A year ago, he was wrapping up fall pace and I don't think he got on the podium for that. I think he finished 5th. I need to check that. Somebody should fact check me. He opted out of participating in summer qualifiers and summer pace, and he hit the lab and he grinded and he worked his ass off. And his PB went from a 138.07, I might be a second off there, I think I'm right though, down to a 137.12, shaving off 55 seconds. Obviously, His PB before didn't have carpetless, but even with carpetless, this is, from a technical standpoint, a stronger PB, a better run. He has been just shooting upwards. He's back into the top 10. And it's so awesome to see him qualify. And it was not a sure thing. He got a really good run on day one, a 138.52. And I mentioned before, but he lost. Oh, wait, this was a different run, I think, that he lost 45 seconds in TTC. I could be wrong about this. My notes aren't very good. That's on me. But it was he was a 137.12 pace into TTM, and this was a phenomenal run. He lost a lot of time late on it. It could have been a better run. So it's crazy to see what he's doing. He locked that in on the first day. He wasn't able to beat it after that. And so it was a little scary. He was getting good runs going, but he wasn't able to finish anything. And Gothic, whom we'll talk about in a second, but he was just churning out deep pacers. And if Gothic had beaten Kally's time of a 139.12, he would have qualified. I think he would have had to beat Simply's time of a 138.52, which would have been a PB for Gothic by a second or two. It would have been really tough. That actually would have knocked Simply out of qualifying position, and we'd be sitting here having a different conversation.
Yep. It was so close. It was... Well, I mean, Gothic would have had to get a run going still, but, I mean, we're talking about a matter of seconds here in terms of finished runs. So, that's close. That's crazy. That is a very, very tight margin. But, you know, Simply, he's back in a big way in the pace scene, which is great to see. I feel like you always just want to see Simply up there. He just brings good energy to the finals, and... You know, the crowd gets super into it because, I mean, simply, he's one of the biggest Mario runners on planet Earth. So, you know, I'm glad he's back. You know, he's the runner that got me into Mario. So, always like to see Simply succeed. But yeah, I don't think the quals are really super indicative of how he might perform in finals, because, you know, in qualifier season, you're talking about Simply still running his regular stream. Like, he's kind of focused on still like being a streamer and an entertainer and, you know, all that stuff. But in finals, it's just him and Mario. Like, he's just locked in. He gets to focus on the game and just putting up good runs. Doesn't really have to focus on a lot else. So I think he's gonna come out and he's gonna show up in finals, and I think he might surprise a lot of people on how he's gonna perform. And, you know, he's been super close to a 136 in his own PB attempts. So I just feel like it's going to happen. It's bound to happen eventually. Like, he's going to have that big pop-off run. And it might happen in the next 2 months. It might happen at finals. Who knows?
That's a phenomenal point. I couldn't agree more. Totally different landscape when you're talking qualifiers versus finals. Particularly if you look at his aggregate, we're talking about how close it was. He almost didn't qualify. It's a little misleading. I mean, the first qualifiers, he did one run while doing 120 questions. It was literally content. It just happened to be during pace qualifiers, so the run counted. And he happened to get a good enough time. I think it was 8th to get enough points to set himself up to be able to, you know, to qualify here. He only had a 138. In these qualifiers, though, with how fast the competition is, you actually can say only a 138. But it could have been better. Obviously, he had significant time loss. That 139 that he had before the 138 was solid. And then the 138 itself is, you know, he had time loss all throughout. It was 137 pace into Tippy. There's no doubt that he has what it takes to compete. He's playing at the best of his abilities right now. He's never been playing better Mario than these last few months. If he can carry that into pace, you take away to your point and see as kind of the entertaining, the streaming aspect, and it's just truly locked in on gameplay. Who knows what's going to happen? The possibilities are endless for Simply, you know, and come on the fucking pod. That's it.
Come on the fucking pod.
Talk
about finals. Come on the fucking pod. Talk about finals, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Come on.
Let's run it.
Come on. Get on here. Let's go. Finally, our final qualifier, and I don't think we'll necessarily, I don't have a ton to say because Green Suigi, qualifying in 7th, did not participate in this last round of qualifiers. He was out of town, was not able to participate. I guess the only kind of questionable thing here is, will he accept the invite to finals? I have sources who have been talking to me. We've been having chats, conversations that suggest that it's potentially up in the air. It's not necessarily a sure thing. I don't know. I haven't done any fact checking myself. I have not spoken to Sweegie about this. He's the only one who knows what the answer to that is. But it could be interesting.
Yeah, this could be a big old question mark in the 7th spot because, obviously the way this works, we've talked about this briefly in past episodes, especially for the last season of qualifiers. It's like, okay, if this person qualifies and then is like, nah, I don't feel like going, then the next man up would be the person to take that spot. But yeah, I don't know. Suigi, you got to think he said he wasn't going to participate in the second round of qualifiers. He was like,
That's right.
Nah, I don't think I really want to try to qualify this time around. Like maybe next time. And then he still came out and he still put up like a 139 or something. So had he not put up that run, we'd be again having a completely different conversation. But finishing first in the first quals and then putting up that run just did just enough, which is insane that he didn't even finish. I can't remember what position that 139 got him in the second quals, but getting first in the first one, getting like an okay position in the second one, and not even doing the third one, which is the most heavily weighted qualifiers out of all three, and you're still getting the 7th spot. Like, I don't even know. That's wild to me. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he grinded the most for the first qualifier, which is the least amount of points. Was it a one and done for the second qualifier, or was it just a handful of runs?
I think he only finished one, and I think it was that 139.
I think that's right.
Wrong about that.
And then just not at all doing the most heavily weighted qualifiers, and here he is, 7th spot. He qualifies. And I know he's also been dealing with some eye strain, which factored into, he hasn't been as active lately. So it'll be interesting to see if that is enough of an issue to kind of deter him or prevent him from going to finals. And if that spot does open up, if it does open up, the next man up, the next person to get the invite, #GothicSeason. #GothicSeason.
GothicSeason. I just accidentally muted my microphone.
Good thing I noticed.
Yeah, it's #GothicSeason. It's always Gothic season. It's a beautiful day outside here in Massachusetts, and that's because it's Gothic season, man.
It's always Gothic season. Gothic could be at finals again. It really depends on Suigi if he accepts or declines that invitation. Either way, Gothic finished 8th in qualifiers, 7th in this weekend's qualifier, a 139.42. And I mentioned it before, but just so many pacers deep. My heart was breaking. I want to look this up. I got to look into the stat on this. I don't think anyone plays a larger percentage of the playable time in qualifiers than Gothic. It's like as soon as runs kick off, he's grinding, and he's grinding the entire time and always has a run going into overtime. He puts so much work into it, more than any other runner. And it's so impressive because that's exhausting. That's so taxing to do that for 2 straight days. And he's just always grinding. He's always playing. He's always pushing for a better time. And it's the most impressive thing. It's so admirable. He's just got this mentality that is unrivaled, I think, by any other runner. And man, he had so many. His first finish run was a 140. It was 138 best possible time going into Tippy. That could have been enough not only to qualify, but to potentially bump Simply out. But then he missed a few throws. He lost 50 seconds of bits, and it just the run unfortunately fell apart at the end. But that wasn't it, because later, his second finished run, and this was his tourney PB, he finished a 139.42. This was tough. It was PB pace into upstairs. He had a 104 up, and then he lost PB pace into cloud, golded TTC, and then after a slow carpetless, he had a 139 best possible time into bits, which was enough to bop Kally, which would have put him into qualifiers over Suigi. But he couldn't close it out, unfortunately. And it was just so brutal to watch. And then he even after that, He had what looked like it might be a final run. It died in Fire Sea. There was only 20 minutes left of resets. He went offline and it was like, that's it. It's over. Gothic's out. Comes back online with minutes to spare. Takes a run into Wet Dry World. He lost a lot of time in DDD and Fire Sea, but the run officially died in Wet Dry World. And it was just he didn't give up. He kept going back, and it was so impressive to me that he refused to give up, and he kept trying and pushing and grinding for that qualifying time.
That's why it's GothicSeason, Gio. That's exactly why it's GothicSeason. This refusal to give up and the refusal to let the game, you know, push him down and keep him down. He's just going to keep doing his thing. And that's why, you know, Gothic qualified last time around for summer base. That's why he came so close this time. And again, depending on what happens with Green Suiji, we might see him up there regardless of him coming in the 8th spot. So, you know, we can't count him out yet. We can't just consider him not in the finals yet. But, you know, I don't know when that decision needs to be made by. I don't know if, you know, Milo or anyone at GSA has given anyone a hard deadline here, because obviously the top 7 get all of their travel, and I think they're rooming comped by GSA. So definitely going to need to know that ahead of time. But man, Gothic is just one hell of a runner, and I'd love to see him back at finals again for his second ever live appearance on a stage for SM64. I just love to see it happen, man. I don't know, but we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how Suiji's feeling.
Yeah, it's up in the air. Obviously, I imagine the decision would be made soon. I mean, they're both international travelers, so that's travel you want to book a little earlier, more in advance. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have clarity on that soon. And maybe maybe the source is bad, and maybe Suiji's planning to go all along. I don't know. It's part of the excitement. It's part of the drama. It's part of the spectacle that is PACE finals. You know, we don't know, but either way, I really wanted Gothic to qualify at the end. He was grinding so hard. My heart was breaking for him. Phenomenal runner, phenomenal effort from Gothic. I was so impressed. You killed it. Absolutely should hold your head high, because you played your ass off this weekend.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. And, you know, you're absolutely right about Gothic taking all of the time, like taking advantage of every single second of qualifiers, because you and I opened on commentary for the first day. We did open, even though we only got like an hour, but that's beside the point.
It happens.
It happens. But yeah, even then, Gothic always one of the first runners that's going to be on that screen for the opening shift at GSA. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy. He takes full advantage of it. And the qualifiers go pretty deep into the night for people in the UK. I think the cutoff is like 11 p.m. I think, if I'm doing the conversion right. I'm pretty sure the UK is 5 hours ahead.
I think it might be 6.
Is it 6?
I think it might be 6.
Either way, 11 p.m., 12 a.m.
No, it's
that's
5.
Late. Either way,
it's 5. It's definitely 5.
11 p.m.
Cut that.
12 a.m.
Cut that.
I mean, that's just the cutoff too, and that's not even factoring in if GSA hits their donation goals. Either way, I'm going on a tangent. Gothic is grinding. He just plays the game, and he's just too damn good at it, man. He's just too damn good at it.
Too damn good. He's too damn good. Yeah, even if we're not able to see Gothic at finals, I really hope we see more of him next qualifiers. I imagine we will. There's no reason I think that he would go anywhere. He's been around for so long, and he's still on the upward trend. So I'm excited to see whether it's at finals or qualifiers next season. I'm excited to see more GothicSeason, because he's electric.
Yeah. You just love having him around. You just love having him around, and you love seeing him up there on stage or in the qualifiers, regardless. So yeah, it's always going to be GothicSeason, man.
It's always GothicSeason. Forecast, always strong, GothicSeason.
Mm-hmm. Every day.
That wraps it up for the top storylines as far as qualifiers. I do want to give one PB shout out to Rhino64, PB 144.02. Almost the 143. Really good run.
So close.
GG's, phenomenal. Always cool to get a PB. Extra cool to get a PB during qualifiers.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about qualifiers is that even people who aren't in top positions, you still have a chance to have your PB seen by hundreds, if not thousands of viewers. So I think that part of it's really cool.
It's true. It's true. GG's Rhino. Killed it. Moving on to the last segment, we do have our predictions. Zeus, Wes, and I made predictions as far as who would qualify for finals. We decided that, well, I don't know what we decided the punishment is, because we also talked about doing finals predictions, which we will do. And I don't know what the punishment for that is versus what the punishment for this is. So still to be decided, because why not add a little mystery, a little fun, a little flair. We do things a little quirky. But we did decide on the scoring.
Fun around here.
Yeah, we like to keep it loose, you know? We did decide on a scoring system, though, and that is 1 point for naming somebody who did qualify, and a bonus point if you got their position right. So, do we think I can do this on the fly?
I don't know. We're going to have to see.
We might need to edit this out, but we'll see. Okay. What if we did... Okay, hold on. We can do this. Studio mode. Oh, man, I'm cooking. I'm cooking.
I don't know how Wes does this all the time, man. He's
this
just
is
on
crazy.
it. He's the production
Wait, that's
wizard.
not what I want. Okay. Oh, yeah, you can't see anything.
No,
I forgot.
can't.
You don't even see my screen. I was like, oh, you're about to see this. You're literally not going to see it. Okay, well, where Wes's head is, or his empty spot, we now have the Google Doc.
Oh, let's go.
Of picks right here. So we're showing your
That's
picks
huge.
right here. And we see that you got 7 out of 14 possible points. You put Simply at first. Did that work?
Next question.
Okay. All right. You did get the name right. You got a lot of names right, actually. You got 6 names right. The one name, let's do it this way. The one name you didn't get right, 4th place right here on the screen. You said Ouija. Ouija obviously participated in the first one. And then, did he participate in the second one, or did he bow out? I can't remember. I think he bowed out before that.
I think he did.
Yeah, so not Ouija season for sure. That's a 0. Everything else you got 1 point for, except Kally. You got a bonus point because you said Kally would come in 5th. You nailed that.
Let's go.
That brings you to 7 points. GG's.
Big.
Now, this is a little tricky. We're going to have to just adjust the window. It didn't think this through, but we're going to make this happen. The visual is not great on this. I'll admit that, but just bear with us, okay? I don't want to show Wes's yet because I want there to be some drama. Let's do this. I'm sure this looks really good. Okay. We're basically there. We're basically there. Great content. You see my predictions now. And you'll notice similarly, very similarly, I named Ouija. Didn't get Ouija right. But everyone else I named correct. I got 6 out of 7 qualifiers. And similarly, I said Kally would come in 5th. Which is 2 points. Which puts me at 7 points. We're tied. There's no winner between us. That's it. It's a dead heat. Oh. But what happened to Wes?
Oh, Wes.
What happened to our boy Wes?
Wesley.
I'm sure you're wondering because you can't see yet until bam. Now you see 6 points. Anonymous Jackalope. 6 points. That is what your name was on the Google Doc.
That's insane.
Wes gets 6 points here. We're going to adjust this because you can't see all the picks yet. And I want you to see all of them because he was so close.
It's so close to the tie.
A point for Cheese, a point for Simply, a point for Kally, a point for Puncay, a point for Sweegie, a point for Beast. None of them in the right spot, though. The order's all jumbled. And then Beeve. He didn't pick Ouija. He was the only one of us, and he was right on that.
Yep.
But unfortunately, Beeve did not participate fully in these qualifiers, so Beeve did not qualify. We hope to see Beeve in the next qualifiers next season.
For sure.
Wes comes away with 6 points. Zeus, can you break out that calculator? Is 6 less than 7?
Hold on, let me
crunch the numbers for me.
Let me crunch my numbers real quick. I'm seeing here, based on my calculator, that 6 is less than 7.
Oh.
So this is breaking news. 6 is in fact less than 7. In fact, 1 less than 7.
Oh, that's close, right?
That's really close.
Shoot. But it's not the same, and it's not more than.
No. So it is in fact less than 7, which means Wes did lose the predictions.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Yeah, winners win, man. Winners win.
Winners do win. Look, coming in, my strategy was to get as many of these right as possible. I wonder if Wes had a different strategy.
I think Wes was trying to make the big, like, bombastic prediction, but, like, I don't know. I mean, you got to ride with Beeve. Beeve's a great guy. He's a great runner.
Friend of the show.
I respect the decision to put him at the 7 spot.
Yeah. No, I mean, and if Beeve competed the whole way through, it could be a different story. Beeve obviously just didn't compete in all 3 qualifiers. But yeah, that's it. It's Wes is our loser. I know one of the punishments, whether it's this time or our finals predictions, is driving from Texas to Alaska in American Truck Simulator. It's going to be awesome. I don't know. I'm a little bummed I'm not doing it. Maybe we just all do it together.
That'd be so insane. We have a nice 3-way stream going, and all of us are driving across the country.
We're just hanging out, chatting.
That'd be so funny.
Having some brews, I imagine.
Having some road
sodas.
Some road sodas, some road sodies. It's a video game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's okay. It's in fact, it'll be educational as to why that you shouldn't do that. So we're kind of doing a good thing by doing this.
I've been hearing people say this isn't an educational podcast. Yeah, wait until we prove you wrong, buddy.
Yeah.
Wait until we prove you wrong.
This is basically NPR, okay? All right. Except without the funding. We literally have zero funding.
Without the funding, or like 99.9% of the audience.
That's true. Our audience is slightly different.
A little bit different, a little bit in terms of content and numbers as well. But if you want to change that, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast down below. Maybe leave a like. Let this video hit the algorithm nice, and we can go viral.
It's so insane because I was about to make that exact same segue. If you didn't make it, I was getting ready to be like, you can change that.
This is why we're pros. This is why we're professionals.
Man. But yeah, I forgot I'm still showing the screen. I shouldn't be scrolling. Wes. Not that there's anything bad up there. It's just our outline for the show. But yeah, Wes is our loser. American Truck Simulator, maybe, or something else. Not a prostate exam. I was told no.
That was axed.
Unfortunately, even though that was a pretty funny idea. But that's it. That's our predictions. We're through qualifier season. I can't believe it. Keep an eye out. 2 things. Zeus's Invertathon live every single day forever. And we'll never stop doing it because he has no choice. Sisyphus. And keep an eye out for those short videos. We have 6 more dropping, maybe 5 by the time this episode drops. Following each of the finalists. So I've already cooked. We've got how many done? We've got 4 basically. 4 done.
Yeah.
3 left to make. We're going to be dropping them. I don't know if we're consistent. We'll do them on Tuesday every week, but for sure once a week. Don't hold us to day of the week. That's too much of a commitment. I can't commit to that.
That's too much, man.
But yeah, we got a great 2-month stretch here leading up to finals. We got to build up that anticipation. We got to get excited. We could see either the winningest person in pace history in Cheese or Puncay, or we're gonna see a new face on the wall of champions. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait for these finals. and it's only going to get faster and faster as the years go on.
It's only gonna get
That's
faster.
the thing. The competition's only going to get tighter. There's just going to be more and more names coming into the fold. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
To that point, these were the
there.
fastest qualifiers ever. I tweeted a thread about it, but like significantly faster. I think second place in summer qualifiers on average would have finished fifth here, which is insane. It's like a 40-second difference between each of the places. First place, interesting, was pretty similar. But yeah, every other place was so much faster this time around. So it's just the runners are getting better, the competition's getting stiffer, and we're getting to a point where anyone could claim victory. Any one of these 7 runners is capable of winning this thing, which is so exciting.
Yep. Just got to see what happens.
Got to see what happens. Follow, like, subscribe. More pace content coming out. This is the best time of year. We're leading up to finals. This is exciting stuff. So catch all of your content here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Like, subscribe, comment, send it to your friends, send it to your family, play it on loop, purchase a click farm in Bangladesh to play this nonstop. I don't care. We just appreciate the support.
As always.
As always. We'll catch you next time. Bye.